Good morning, good morning. I hope you're having a great start to your Friday. And of course, jumping in with today's live video and talking about resistance. This is one of the biggest causes of fatigue, exhaustion, and just feeling that life is really quite difficult and perhaps feeling like you're struggling or just not moving throughout your day with ease and joy and flow. It's one of the biggest things that really creates a lot of dis-ease within the body as well, often really being tough on the adrenals. Hey Faith, great to have you on here. Say a huge hello if you're jumping on. And so it's one of those things. So let me explain what resistance is. Resistance is that thought or feeling before you go and do anything, like doing the dishes or perhaps even putting a load of washing on or perhaps getting ready for work, of not falling in love with your life. Hey Sandra, good morning, gorgeous. It is one of those challenges because as a human being, we tend to be in a huge state of resistance. I think it's a very unconscious state of just feeling like I have to, I need to, or I should do these things. And anytime that we're doing that, it is like somebody putting their hands in your back and constantly pushing you forward. What is the natural response? If somebody's trying to push you forward, what is the natural human response? We push back, right? And so we spend so much time in resistance. And there's a part of you pushing yourself saying, yes, I need to do this. Yes, I should do this. Yes, the kids need me to do this. Yes, my husband or my wife needs me to do this. Like all of these things. And we end up feeling quite angry and resentful underneath that. And when we're living in resistance, it's really, really physically exhausting because it's kind of like you're pushing against, it's like swimming up the current every single day of your life. So just think about for a second, you know, when you think about your day, when you think about like even this moment right now, are you feeling a sense of pressure? Are you feeling a sense of push? Are you feeling a sense of I have to motivate myself or I've got all of these things that I need to get done? And the ego survival mind will of course like go, yeah, but of course that's true. Like, of course I have to. And I'm not, you know, discounting that for a second. However, we do get a choice around how we actually live into and step through our day. And one of the ways that I do this is using really, really empowering questions for myself in terms of if I was already living my dream life or if I was already doing this from a place of joy and happiness, of actually wanting to, from an expression of who I am as a demonstration of who I am, rather than feeling like I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and get through that tick off list, then it reduces the resistance massively. And when we step back into actually asking ourselves, well, why do I want to do this? Because a lot of us feel a sense of powerlessness or a sense of I haven't got a choice. And any time that we feel that we are not at full choice with anything that we're doing, whether it be from a load of washing or from, going out to work or meeting up with a client or like any of those things, the moment, the very second that you feel that you have to, you need to, or you should, then we're actually giving away our own power and we're letting our own sense of choice actually be taken away from us. And this was a huge realization for me back in, when was it? It was 2010, I think. And I was traveling back and forth to my kinesiology study. So that was based down in Melbourne. And basically I did 36 11-hour return trips on the road. So I would leave at 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I'd get down there at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., grab a cuppa, grab some brekkie, and then I'd be in training from 9 till 5 on Saturday, 9 to 5 on Sunday, and then drive back, and I'd be getting back into Wagga about 11 p.m. at night. And I had this pivotal realization at one point where I was so angry that I had all this stuff to do and I was trying to study and I was trying to raise my girls and like doing all of this stuff. And then it was just like this realization of, oh, I actually chose this. I chose to have my girls. I chose to want to be a great mum for them. I chose wanting to study kinesiology. I was choosing my life. And at any point, when you come back to that choice point, it frees up the resistance. Because the resistance, like I was saying, it's the feeling as you move throughout your day. And if you're feeling pressure, if you're feeling push, if you're feeling that sense of, oh, I've just got to go do this, then that is what actually creates and drives so much exhaustion, because it takes so much more energy when you're pushing back against yourself around this. It takes so much more energy to motivate yourself, as opposed to being led from your heart of why you feel inspired, why you're wanting to do this, why you're wanting to express this as a part of the truth of who you are. And this is exactly what we cover off, because in my Thrive program, simply because often it is the thoughts and the beliefs that we have in our mind that create this feeling. And a lot of our thoughts create a lot of suffering for us. They often drive unhealed emotions like guilt or shame. They drive things like, well, I have to, I need to, I should, I must, I've got to, and it's all based on survival. And I'm not going to survive, or I'm not going to be loved. This is at a deeper unconscious level. A lot of the time, most people don't walk around going, oh my gosh, if I don't do the dishes today, I'm not going to survive, or I'm not going to be loved. But it is actually what's driving us at a very, very deep unconscious level. Like, if I don't handle this, if I don't take care of this, then everything else is going to get on top of me. I'm not going to be able to handle this. I'm going to be a failure as a mum, or a failure as a parent, or failure as, in my work. Like, all of those things are driving us. And anytime that we are taking action from a place of unconscious fear, or even conscious fear, if I have to, I need to, I should, I must, then all of that creates incredible tension within the body. And like I was saying, it takes a lot more energy, physical energy. It's kind of like the difference between walking on a well-worn path, or perhaps even a concreted path along your day, skipping and jumping and enjoying the stroll, as opposed to walking through a boggy marsh. That is the energy difference that it feels when we're in a state of resistance and we're pushing ourselves to get things done. The other thing of where that resistance sometimes shows up is we're not even present in this moment. We're not even taking or participating in the joy of this particular moment. And this was a huge realization for me recently. I've had that realization at other times as well. And as with everything, we kind of forget things and then we remember things again. And I was having a conversation with my daughter, and I said to her, there's one thing that if I could go back and change things, and I'm not a huge fan of, regrets or anything else. I know at every point in time, we're always doing the best that we can. So, that's kind of off the table in terms of, well, what if, and blah, blah, blah. And I said to her, there's one thing though that I would have done had I known, and I was in incredible fear a lot of that time in raising my kids, that, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I don't know that I can do this. All of these different feelings coming up. Hey, Jennifer, great to have you on here. All of these different feelings coming up. And it was keeping me stuck in this perpetual state of like looking forward, being in my mind and feeling anxious about the future, or looking back at the past and going, oh my God, like I should have done that better. Oh, I feel like a failure, or I should have done this better. Like all that kind of unconscious or conscious beating up on ourselves that we often do. And it was living in that state of stress, and it robbed me. I really consciously recognized I robbed myself in that moment from so much more joy that I could have experienced raising my kids. But because I was in such a state of survival a lot of the time, and that's not to say I wasn't super present at times, and I didn't, I had a lot of fun. We had a lot of amazing and incredible times. We did some really amazing trips as well, and would also, spend times playing board games and everything else. But I recognized that so much of that time was also spent in my head, worrying about the past or the future, and not actually being fully present and enjoying this moment for what it was. And I said to my daughter, even now, me talking about this is taking away from the joy of just the two of us going for this beautiful walk in nature and actually being truly present. Or the other thing that I'm kind of moving through as well is, good morning, great to have you on, Bron. And the other thing that I noticed as well is that I'm moving through like a lot of grief at the moment, in transitioning and moving away from my girls and everything else. And it's like the second that I go into grief, even though they're here with me right now, or not actually, because they're both at work and doing their thing. But, in terms of I haven't already left, But in my head, I'm already in the future and I'm already thinking about what that's going to be like, and I'm already in the state of missing them. Not always, like I said, but this is what I've noticed, and it robs me so much of this present moment, this present joy. And when I think of it, I come straight back and I go, right, okay, let's just be present. Let's really enjoy this moment. And it's been such a huge realization as well, or just remembering to bring myself consistently back to the present moment, because that is where the joy unfolds. That's where life unfolds. And it's in those often delicious, just everyday moments. And I was reading a book on empty nesters, and so many people spoke about just missing the everyday moments. It wasn't necessarily the great big fancy holiday or the particularly special time that, maybe they went and had one-on-one time with their child or any of those things. Yeah, sure, they were all important things. But what they actually missed the most was the everyday banter, the everyday conversations, the meals together, the joking, the laughing, the playing games together. Like all of those things was what people actually miss the most. And I think in truth, like, we can gloss over that so fast. And please, send me some love, or if that's really resonating for you as well, where we're just moving past, like, consciously, like, always looking forward in our head, and that's where we're not really anchoring in and being really, really present in our body. And a great way to do that is take a couple of deep breaths. Our breath always brings us back to the present moment, and tapping into our senses. So what can I see right now? What am I experiencing right now? What am I feeling right now? All of those things brings you back to the present moment and gets you out of your head, because that is our ego survival mind. It's always trying to control the future because it wants security, it wants safety, it wants to know everything's going to be okay. So it's constantly there, and it's planning, and it's running its to-do list and everything else that needs to get done. And this is, in truth, what causes like a lot of challenges and a lot of physical fatigue. Because if you're not experiencing joy right now in this moment, then where are you at emotionally? And most people could, honestly say about 5 different emotions that they experience on a regular basis. And remember, every single day of our life is a mini version of our life. So if you're consistently experiencing exhaustion or resentment, or even that state of resistance or frustration, or just feeling rushed and feeling stressed, maybe even anxiety or pressure, then that is your life, guys. Like, I hope that you really get the deeper meaning around this, in needing to shift this or needing to be more conscious of it, simply because like every single day that we live that way is another day of our long-term life that we're living in a state that doesn't serve us and doesn't serve the world. And certainly, can be really, really disheartening when we're living that long-term, and it's very detrimental to the physical body, and often leads to things like adrenal fatigue, being in that low-level state of just chronic tension, chronic stress, and feeling worried about things. And law of attraction, we're just going to keep attracting more of that. There are so many reasons why feeling good is one of the best gifts that you can give to yourself, and living from that heart center, in feeling inspired or feeling joyful, moving from that state of I have to, I need to, I should, to I get to choose to. And this is exactly what we deal with, certainly in my Thrive program as well. But it's exactly what I'm super passionate about as well, simply because I think unconsciously we're often living in that place. And unless we actually really start to get clear on that, and how do I choose to live, what emotions do I wish to experience every day? And yes, you do actually have control of your emotions. That was one thing that, for years I didn't even know that. I didn't even understand how I could change my emotions if the situation or the circumstance externally hadn't changed. And that is, huge depth of my training, and it's exactly what I love to help people really understand and master, how to master their emotions and how to become the creator of their life, rather than feeling that life is happening to me, or I just have to do all of these things because that's just the way it is, and feeling powerlessness, or feeling that sense of choice, even if it's unconscious, is being taken away from us as well. So it impacts so much of our well-being, it impacts so much health, it impacts so much financial abundance, because if you're in contraction, if you're in worry, if you're in fear, if you're living in scarcity, stress of I haven't got enough time, I haven't got enough money, I've got to do all these things so I can pay the bills, like I just have to, then that is going to create havoc in so many areas of your life. And remember too, you know, how do we speak to our partner when we're stressed, or our loved ones when we're stressed, our relationship with our kids, and we're also role modeling that to our kids as well. So just really taking some time to feel into and just to explore. I invite you to explore that within yourself, of how much resistance are you feeling every single day when you go to do things. And that resistance is just that feeling like you've got to push yourself in the back to actually get stuff done, where it's like, oh, you know, like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that, or like how much of your day are you actually spending time in that energy, in that emotional state. So have an amazing day. If that is you, or you're resonating really strongly with that and you wish to totally move out of that, then please send me a PM. Let's book in a time to chat, have a conversation, and let's get you some support around that as well. Like I said, it really does massively impact the physical well-being in the body, as well as just so much in our life every day. So thanks so much, Megan. Hey Dee, hey Jerry, lovely to have you on here. And that's so great that that's timely. I love the synchronicity. It's always amazing, isn't it? So yes, loads of love to you all, and have an amazing day. And like I said, I'll pop the link below for you to book in a call if you're really resonating with that, and if you're feeling like, yep, I'm really exhausted. And remember that the more exhausted that we become, then the harder it is to kind of get stuff done. And this can kind of be a bit of a downward spiral, where really getting some support and some assistance around this really makes a huge difference in being able to regain your full vitality, come back to a place of peace and presence and joy and happiness, as well as increasing financial abundance as well. So have an amazing day. Loads of love. Bye.